I raised that boy with my own hands, and now he was banning me from his house like a stranger. The message popped up on my screen while I was folding his childhood blanket. Dad, please don't come tonight. Emma doesn't feel comfortable with you there. No explanation. No voice call. Just cold text. From my only son. Before we continue, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that will leave you speechless. Let's get into it. I sat there frozen, staring at those words like someone had punched the wind out of my chest. It was supposed to be a family dinner. My birthday week. My son. His new house. The one I gave him a down payment for, and now I wasn't welcome? Because Emma didn't feel comfortable, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I just stood up, took a long breath, and changed into my best blazer. If they thought I'd sit quietly and vanish, they had no idea who I really was. When I got there, the front door was open, and laughter echoed from the backyard. I walked in slowly. My heart was beating like a war drum, but my face was calm, stone cold. I stepped out into the patio, and the moment Emma saw me, her smile dropped. Like a broken chandelier. She whispered something in Tyler's ear. My son turned pale. Dad, we told you not to come, he mumbled, glancing around awkwardly at the guests. Some of them were coworkers from my old firm. People who used to work under me before I retired. Early. I looked around. The decorations were grand. Lights everywhere. Wine glasses clinking. Music playing. Everything perfect, except one thing. I wasn't supposed to exist. That's when Emma walked up to me with her chin raised high. This dinner is for Tyler's future, Jack. We're building our own family now. You should respect that. Respect that. Word hit me harder than the text. I had spent 30 years sacrificing everything for that boy. Paid off his college debt. Gave him the down payment for this very house. And now I was being told to respect being erased. Before I could speak, Emma clinked her glass and tapped a spoon. Everyone. Quick toast, she said cheerfully. To my husband Tyler, who just got promoted to regional director at Technova, at only 28. The crowd cheered. I didn't clap. I couldn't, because I knew something no one here did. That promotion? It wasn't because of talent. It was because of one signature of mine, and tonight. I was going to expose everything. The silence that followed my stillness was louder than any applause. Emma's fake smile trembled for a split second when she saw I hadn't clapped. Tyler avoided eye contact like a guilty child caught red-handed. I took a slow sip from the untouched glass of water on the nearby table, then cleared my throat. You all are celebrating a promotion, I said calmly, loud enough for the crowd to hear. But maybe you should also know how that promotion really happened. A few heads turned. I caught the eye of Mr. Hargrove, Technova's vice president. He'd worked with me for nearly a decade before I stepped away quietly. He looked confused. Emma's voice snapped in, sugar-coated and tight. Jack, this really isn't the time. I turned to her slowly. Emma, I built Technova's backbone. Before you even knew what the company was, I was designing the protocols your husband now presents as his own. Tyler's face flushed red. Dad, stop. No, Tyler, I interrupted, locking eyes with him. Let's not rewrite history. In front of your guests. You think I didn't know you used my old software model as the base for your last pitch? The same model I never made public? The one buried deep in my archives? The backyard had gone completely quiet now. Forks frozen midair. One guy even stopped chewing. Emma's mask cracked. That's not true. It is, I said, pulling a small USB from my jacket pocket. This contains every line of that code. Timestamped. Authored. Patented. By me. Tyler was shaking now. I didn't think you'd mind. I cut him off again. You didn't think I'd be invited, Tyler. You didn't even think I'd know. And yet, here I am. Everyone stared as I placed the USB down on the table in the center of the patio like it was a courtroom exhibit. And if anyone here doubts it, I added, looking at Mr. Hargrove, feel free to have your tech department verify it. Tonight. Emma suddenly grabbed Tyler's arm, whispering furiously. But I wasn't done. You know what's funny? I said, now addressing the whole group. I was proud of him. Even when he lied. Even when he took something that wasn't his. I still thought, at least he's succeeding. I took a breath, but this one wasn't shaky. It was steady. Controlled. But tonight, when he told me I wasn't welcome, that's when I realized. I didn't lose a son to ambition. I lost him. To entitlement. A pin could have dropped. Emma looked like she wanted to scream, but she was surrounded by corporate sharks now, the type who can smell a lie from a mile away. Mr. Hargrove finally stepped forward. Jack, he said, voice cautious. Are you saying the foundation of Tyler's project was yours? I'm not saying it, I replied. I'm proving it. And you'll see it all, including the non-compete clause he violated when he submitted it. Tyler's knees buckled slightly. Emma hissed, you wouldn't ruin your own son in front of everyone. I looked her dead in the eye. You already did. And then I walked out, calm, controlled, and powerful, but the real storm hadn't even started yet. The fallout started before I even made it to my car. Behind me, voices rose, confusion, panic, whispers. Mr. Hargrove called someone. On the spot. Pull Tyler's files. I want a full audit. Now. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The truth was already spreading like wildfire. By the time I got home, my phone had blown up with messages from people at the dinner. Former coworkers. Board members. Even a journalist I hadn't spoken to in years. And then came Tyler's call. I let it ring 5 times before answering. Dad, please, he said. They're suspending me. They say they're reviewing my entire promotion. I stayed quiet. I wanted him to feel the weight of that silence, the kind I felt when he disinvited me from my own birthday dinner. I messed up, he finally admitted. Emma pushed me. Said we needed something big, fast. She found your old hard drive when we moved your boxes, so you stole it? I asked, my voice low. She said it wasn't really stealing if we're family. I almost laughed. The kind of bitter laugh that hurts more than any tear. You didn't just take my work, Tyler. You erased me. From the table. From your life. He didn't speak. I didn't raise you to cheat your way to the top. And I sure as hell didn't raise you to cut out the hands that fed you. I'll fix it, he said quickly. I'll tell them you helped. That it was a joint effort. I cut him off. No. You'll tell them the truth. Silence, then a shallow breath. Dad, if this goes public, I might lose everything. I looked out the window at the sky. You already did, son. You just don't know it yet. An hour later, the story broke online. Technova exec under investigation for code theft from retired founder. My name wasn't in the headline, but the body told it all. And the comments? They were brutal. People remembered me. And they stood by me, but the real twist came the next morning. Emma showed up at my doorstep. No makeup. No designer bag. Just rage behind red, tired eyes. You planned this, she snapped. You humiliated him on purpose. I sipped my coffee slowly. You humiliated yourself. I just brought the light. You ruined his career. No, Emma. You did that the second you told him I wasn't welcome in his own house. Her voice cracked. You're not innocent, Jack. You think you can just waltz in and destroy us? I leaned forward. I built everything you're living in. Every chair you sit on, every tile under your feet. You walked into a castle and thought you were queen. But you forgot who laid the first brick. She stormed off, but not before I saw it, that flicker of fear, because she finally realized, this wasn't the Jack she thought she could push around, this was the Jack who owned everything, and he was just getting started. 3 days later, the world flipped upside down for them. Tyler's face was splashed all over LinkedIn and business news outlets. Technova's golden boy caught in promotion fraud scandal. The internal review confirmed everything. Not only had he stolen my original code, but he'd also submitted it under a false timestamp, bypassing corporate compliance. That was a felony. And Emma? She tried to play damage control. Posted an Instagram story with the caption, "We all make mistakes. Growth is part of life." But the comments were brutal. You mean stealing? Funny how daddy-in-law owns everything you wear. Where's Jack? We want Jack's side. But the storm didn't end there. Technova's legal team contacted me. They wanted to resolve things amicably, fearing I'd take the matter public in a lawsuit. The VP himself showed up at my office. Yes, the same office I still kept in my name downtown. Jack, he said, almost nervously, we're willing to offer a licensing fee for your original code, as well as a formal apology. I smiled. Oh, I don't need your apology. But I will take back what's mine. You see, when I retired 5 years ago, I never truly left. I'd quietly bought 12% of Technova's stock during a down year. No one noticed. Now? With Tyler gone, and the company desperate for leadership, Guess whose name came up? Mine. They asked me to return, not just as a consultant, but as executive director of innovation. Emma and Tyler were still in damage control when the news broke. Jack Riley returns to Technova in surprise comeback, founder to lead innovation division. Tyler texted me that night. One line, you win. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The final blow came during a press conference. I stood at the podium, calm and composed, facing the flashing cameras. Someone asked, Mr. Riley, how does it feel to return to the company after all this drama? I paused. Then smiled. Sometimes, being uninvited is the best invitation you'll ever get. The crowd laughed. Cameras clicked. And the clip went viral. Millions watched. Millions cheered. An old man who was cast aside had taken back his seat at the head of the table, not with noise, but with power, proof, and patience. They thought I was done, they thought I was irrelevant, but they forgot one thing: I raised empires long before they could spell ambition, and this time, I wasn't stepping down, not ever again.